Well, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Codebase Alpha. This is our early show. It's quite early, I guess, over in the US, so I'm not expecting many people to be coming over from there. But yeah, so it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in the UK, and it's time for some GraphQL. So what I wanted to do first, actually, is put some music on, because I keep forgetting this part of the stream. So let's get some streaming music on. There we go. Let's so let me know if that's too loud. Actually, I might just knock it down just a touch. There we go. Let's see if what that's like. If anyone finds that too loud or they can't hear it at all, just let me know. So a bit of relaxed daily in the background, just to get us in the mood, a bit focused for this this session. So it's going to be a bit of an interrupted session today, because I've got some stuff to do for work. I've got to stop about 5 o'clock briefly to actually set off some backups, and that'll be probably 2 or 3, maximum 5-minute break, about top of the hour, and then we'll carry on and see how far we get. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to cover in terms of new stuff today, but what I do want to do is actually to get some of the other parts of the database queryable from GraphQL. So we're going to use some of the things we learnt last time with data loaders. We're going to run into some issues, because there's one part of what I want to do which I'm not really sure how to use data loader yet. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But one of the things I wanted to look at first was an issue with the date time zone conversion that we did last time. So let me just bring that up on the screen. So if I start our application off, what I've done is I've added an extra stream in for Codebase Alpha. It's a completely fictitious stream, because there's no way I'm ever going to be streaming at this time in the morning. So if we just go back to our playground, and I look at the channel schedules. So let's just run this. You can see here we have our schedule for Dev Chatter, and here we have our schedule for Codebase Alpha. And I've added this early morning stream here on a Friday at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 till 3 Europe time, Europe London time. So if we now go and put a time zone on the schedule, so let's say a time zone of we'll have America, New York, and run that, then we'll see that for Codebase Alpha, it's saying that's going to happen on a Friday at 9 o'clock, and that's not actually the case. It's going to be on the Thursday at 9 o'clock in the evening in New York, and not on the Friday. So what we're not doing is we're not taking account of the fact that when we shift time zones, we could have to change the day that we're broadcasting on as well. So let's sort that out. Okay. Let's go and have a look at the code that we were using. So the problem lies within our time zone conversion. So we've got a helper class here, time zone helper, and in here we're just converting. So we're taking the date time and we're converting between the time zones. So we're taking from the Europe time zone, and it goes back, say, 6 or 7 hours to the American time zone, and it doesn't change the day that we're broadcasting on. It's actually moved it to the previous day in that case. So we need to fix that up. So let's approach that. So let's first start off by getting the day of the week here, and that's going to be the local date time, and we want the day of the week. Okay, and that's bringing back a node time type ISO day of week, and And so what we want to do now is convert that into a change. So we want to know what the delta is. When we convert to the new time zone, what is the change of day, if any? So let's create another variable called adjust day of week. And that's going to be the day of week for 2 local here, which is our new zoned time date and time. So local 2 local, and then we want the day of week for that, and we want to then subtract off that the day of the week that we had here. So let's change this to original day of week. And just so we're being obvious about what we're doing. So now we've got an adjustment. So in the case of that I just described, where I set up a fictitious stream that happens at 2 in the morning my time in the UK, that needs to be reflected. If that was on a Friday, it needs to be on a Thursday at about 9 o'clock in the evening in New York. So this should be -1, so we should get, I don't know, we'll get a 5 here for original day of the week, we'll get a 4 here for the new day of the week because it's shifted the time to the previous day, so we get a -1. So we're going to adjust our day of week by -1. Now what we also need to do is to actually return that. So I thought what we could do is actually return a tuple. So if we have return an int called adjust day of week, and the second element of the tuple we'll call local time. So this is just giving some names to the tuple elements. Now we're going to return, so we need to put brackets around our return type because it's going to return a tuple, and we need to put adjust day of week as the first part of that. Okay, so now our static method is going to return, let's just correct the spelling, shall we? It's going to return an integer which represents how much we shift our day of week by, and also the new local time. So we're only worried about the start time when we shift our day of week, our day. So let's go back and have a look at the channel type. So this is where we're using this method, this time zone helper, and you can see here that it's obviously not happy because we're now returning a tuple type. So let's just do some adjustments in here. So what we want to say here is that what do we want to say? We want to say that change of day, say adjust day, adjust day of week, and local time, local start time is going to equal this new value. Let's grab that out of here, pop that up there. Okay, and so our new local start time is no longer going to be this this call, it's going to be local start time. And the end time, let's build the end time up again as well. Okay, so we can basically take the same thing. This time we want the local end time. That's going to be end time. We don't need the first element, so we can throw this away in this case. and we can say that the instead of all that, this is going to be a local end time. Okay, so now we've got our information back here about the start and end time. What we need to do is actually adjust the day of the week. So stream where are we? Misspellings. Stream day of week, and then what we can do is actually simply add in the just day of week. Okay, so what this should do in the case that we're in our test case where we're looking at 2 in the morning on a Friday in the UK, that should be about 9 o'clock I think on a Thursday, 9 o'clock PM on a Thursday in the US, in New York at least. Then this should be -1, this is just day of week, so we should decrease the day of week by 1, so Friday should become Thursday. Okay, so that's the plan anyway. So just in case you haven't used tuples before, this is a discard. So this means in this case for the end time we don't care about retrieving the adjustment to the day week because we've already got it from the first element here. Okay, well let's run this up and see how this performs. Okay, so welcome to the viewers. Say hello in chat, and it's good to see you. Okay, so here we go. Back to our playground, and I'll just remove this time zone change and just show you exactly what we were talking about. So here we have Codebase Alpha with this fictional stream that happens on a Friday, which is day number 5 at 2 in the morning. If we now place our time zone specification, we want to convert this to New York time. We run that again, and what we should see is it should be on a Thursday. This is week day number 4, and you can see it is. So we've got now we're on a Thursday at 9 o'clock till 10 in New York. So that's worked quite nicely. Okay, let's stop that. Okay, so yeah, so that's quite a useful function we've got there to take into account the way the day of the week might change, and it should work by other way. So if we're late at night in the US, it should change us to the next day in in the UK. So that's quite useful. Okay, let's close that down for now. Return to our channel types now. If we just go over to our models, channel has a list of tags. Okay, and the tags are basically the kind of subjects that the streamer pushes out on their broadcast. Ace Flames here, welcome to the stream. Thank you for saying hello in chat. Good afternoon to you. So we just fixed an issue that was left over from last stream, which was at our time, a local time adjuster, and wasn't taking into account changes in the day. So that if we converted from 2 in the morning in the UK to the US times, then it actually would also mean it was the previous day as well in the US. So we've fixed up that, and now we're going to look at just doing a bit more to build out this query. So we've got tags, and tags is a list of tag type. Okay, so let's go and have a look at tag, because we're going to need to model that. So tag is simple. It's a name. It's an ID. The ID is inherited from data entry, a name and a description. So let's go and build that in our GraphQL types. So I'll add a class in here. and this is going to be tag type, following the convention of just putting the word type after the name of the model. Okay, and this is going to be a public class, and we're going to want to be inheriting from object graph type. And this is one of the GraphQL types. Spell that right, and then bring that namespace in. There we go. Okay, so what we want to do is define the fields on this, and we can use our lambda expressions to do this. So we need to do a public constructor first. So public tag type, and we can use our fields now. So we're the fields, and we don't need to use the generic version. We can use the lambda version, as I was saying. So this basically, because we're dealing with types that we know about. So these are the simple types, simple scalar types, which GraphQL knows about. We can use this format. So there will be oh, I see. Sorry, we've just got to tell it what type. This is a type tag, and we need to import that as well. There we go, from the core models. So now we should get ID on here, and we can put a description in. So this is the unique identifier tag, and it's quite good to actually build up this documentation, even if it's fairly simple to begin with, because it's all exposed in the front end, in our playground, so we can actually tell what's going on. So then we can have name, so description there. It helps if we put our quotation marks in. Okay, and finally there's another field which was description, and then description is the next one. Description of that is description of the tag. So this is really the tag, isn't it? And that's a description of the tag. Okay, so that's pretty much all we need for that. So we've got our tag type. We can get rid of some of these extraneous bits and pieces, and now we need to go over to our channel type. Okay, so we can actually put this together relatively quickly, I suspect. We need a list graph type in a similar way as we got here. Okay, so let's just quickly do that. So we want another field, and this time we're going to have to use our generic form of fields, because this is a complex type. It's a list, and it's a list of tags, so it's not a simple scalar item. So we have to use the generic form of field definition. This is, once again, it's going to be a list. So we use the list graph type, and it's going to be a list of tag type. There we go. That's our, and we need to give that a name. We're going to call that tags. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll build it without having a data loader initially. So we need a resolver for that, and that is going to be, we're going to use our repo. We haven't got the repo currently in. We haven't got. So let's build it. Let's build it as we actually want to build it. We're using our data loader. Okay. So what we need to do is go and have a look and see what we've got on the core for tags. So we've got a tag search service here. So this is finding a tag. what we wanted to bring back all tags. But what we want, if you remember from last time, we were bringing back a lookup of scheduled streams, and we want something similar. So over here, this is what we added for the use in the data loader. We need this lookup. So lookup of an int, which is the channel ID, and then whatever object we're trying to get back. So let's do the same over here. So we want our iTag search service. We want to bring back an iLookup of tag, and we want to call it get channel tags lookup. Then we need to bring in the namespace for iLookup, which is simply a link namespace. Okay, so we got that sitting there. We need now to go and implement that. So let's pop across to our Dapper implementation of those services here, and we don't actually have a tag search service yet over in Dapper. So, we do have a tag search service. It's living over here. Look, it's not in the services area. So we'll leave it where it is because that's where DevChat has left it. Let's implement that interface. So we've got our new component here. So let's now just go over to the service we were working on before, which is the scheduled stream service, and have a look at what we implemented there. So this is the lookup we implemented. Let's grab that and go and look at it in the light of tags. So we don't only want to grab the inside of that. So sorry, let's grab the internal part of that. And this is going to be an async. And we'll pop that in there. Okay. So we're using Dapper. We've got our database connection here, and this is the SQL you're going to be using. So we need to change this to tags, and that's tags and tag. So we now, okay, what's interesting? Okay, so we've got to have a quick look at the tag database. So let's have a pop over to the database and have a look at what's actually in the tags table. Right, so here we are. These are tables. It's taking a while to read the tables. Come on, there we go, and we got tags. So let's have a quick look at what's in there. Come on, there we go. It's simply called, okay, so it's just a list of tags. Oh, it's channel tags is what we're dealing with here. Look, channel tags. Okay, so it's slightly more complicated than initially thought. So this is channel tags, and it's channel ID and tag ID. So we want to get everything from channel tags C, tags T, where that, and we only want to get back. So we want to get back. What do we want to get back? We want to get back the channel ID and everything from T. So So tag does not contain a definition for that. Okay, so we need to be a bit clever about that, don't we? So this is getting a list of tags. Let's have a look at what else we do. Okay, here we go. So this looks like what we want, isn't it? Select star from schedules. Okay, so yeah, so we select star from channels, and we want to get so it's something along the lines of this. I mean, it's actually a query multiple by the look of it. Okay, so it's a bit more complicated than perhaps we'd hoped. Let's think. So we should be able to use something along these lines, shouldn't we? It's T star. So yes, maybe this is what we need to be bringing back. Let's grab hold of that and go back to our tag search, and let's pop that in there. So now we're getting everything in T. Let's go back and see what we were doing here. Hazy Kick, thank you very much for the follow. Wonderful. very much appreciate that. So we're heading towards our 100 follower goal, and you're fantastic in contributing to that. So many thanks. Okay, so we're in one of these situations now. We have to start with thinking about what we're actually trying to achieve. So it looks to me as if this is very similar to what we want, isn't it? So okay, so let's have the problem is we need to build a lookup. This will bring us back our channel tags, but it won't bring back the channel ID. So and we're doing a query async on tag. So that's what's going to bring back. So we almost want a combination, don't we, of the two? We want to have difficult. It's hard to think on stream. To kind of invent new stuff on stream is I'm finding quite hard. So let's have a. So it's almost what we want, a new type, isn't it? Which is a channel tags. Okay. Let me have a think. Yeah. We're not able to convert. We can get the tags back, okay, but we need to convert it into a lookup, and we need to know what the grouping value is, and the grouping value is going to be our channel ID. So that's how this works. Basically, a lookup is a dictionary, so it's got a key, and that key needs to be our channel ID. But instead of having just simple value, the value is actually a enumerable. So we want to kind of populate in the list of tags. Now the one problem with lookups is you can't create them. There's no constructor. you can only use this extension method to turn a list into a lookup, and they're actually immutable as well. So once you've created one, they are immutable and you can't add or remove elements from it. So that is a kind of challenge here. So let's go back to this. Here we're kind of building up channels. Okay, well that seems like a reasonable thing to do, doesn't it? Why don't we basically grab all of this, list channel get all. Okay, well, list channel get all. Let's grab all of this and bring it over to our search here. Put that into there. So instead of, we don't need this bit. We don't need to get the scheduled streams. We just want to get the channel tags. So we get in the channel, and for each of those we're using the and we just need that part of it, and we want to return channels. So what's channels? So we want to go maybe to lookup, and can we actually then get channel ID? So channel ID is not on there. Is it going to be just ID? I think it might be. Let's have a look. So we're saying this is a so that works, but that's not really what we want. We don't want a list of channels. We just want ID, don't we, from the channel? Get channel tags lookup. And we can do read async here, and we can await that. Oh, come on. And we need to bring in this. We need to put the bracket there, don't we? That's better. Okay, and we can probably do a query async here as well. We do the same kind of thing. We'll await that. That gives us a nice async method now. So we're getting the channel. We're bringing channel back. Just the ID of the channel, and the tags. Okay. Let's have a look at what we can do within our tag type. So it doesn't quite feel right, this. Doesn't quite feel right. How about if we actually get a tag there, and no, we can't really do it that way, can we? We can't create the lookup. All we can do, so if I go over to the documentation for lookups, you see it says there's no public constructor to create a new instance. It's also immutable, so we can't add things to it after it's been created. So you create an instance of lookup by calling the toLookup on an IEnumerable. Query multiple async. There is a query multi-async. Fuel Snowball, and welcome to the create a dictionary and then change it to a lookup. So I wonder if you can do that. I wonder if you can change a dictionary to a lookup. Let's have a look and see if you can do that. Dictionary to lookup. And I've converted a dictionary to a lookup. Yeah, so we can do it to that kind of idea there. Okay, well that sounds like a reasonable thing. Let's try that. Var channel tags is going to be a new dictionary. I'll type int and IEnumerable tag, and so here, so we're doing a for each here. So we're going to want to for each channel and channel ID. Grab those. So channel tags. Dot add. So we want to add in channel dot ID and channel dot tags. And we want to return channel tags to lookup. Can we do that? So it doesn't contain ID. So let's go back to that bit of code which we saw. That seems like the best way of doing it. Fuel Stable, guess my async question is this: if this is an async method, should we be able to use async? Should we always try to use async methods? I thought we were. So using query async, query multiple async. Good call. Good call. Sorry, I missed that myself. I did change the other ones to async, and so I did miss that multiple. But you're right. Okay, so here they're saying the lookup is a dictionary. Okay, so let's just grab this code here and pop it over here. So let's have a look at it. So we're taking our dictionary, which is channel tags. So what's X? Oh, so we got another X here. Let's change this to. Okay, so now we've got a lookup, and this is going to be a lookup of int and tag. Seems reasonable. So let's try returning that. Get rid of this. So we just got our tags, and we've got our key, our grouping key, which is the channel ID. Okay. and we're missing a semicolon. All right. So that's a possible way of doing this. So let's see if it works. Back into our, let's get rid of some of these things which are starting to clog up. Tags, we don't need tags, we don't need that or that. Let's go back to our channel type. Okay, so we're bringing back tags. We're going to bring a list back of tag type, and now we want to use our same kind of pattern as we've got here for the scheduled stream type. So this is the data loader pattern that we came across last time. So let's just implement that. So we need to resolver. Did I create a resolver? We didn't know. So resolve. We need to take the context, and we're going to do something with that. And we're going to take a variable called loader, and that's going to be equal to our data loader context accessor, which is being injected by the DI framework here. Okay, so that enables us to access the data loader accessor. And on there is a context, and on there is a get or add collection batch loader, and this is basically what we're going to use for our caching. So we're going to make one query rather than many queries per channel. So we're trying to reduce the loading on the database and make it more efficient. So we're getting back a lookup, which is an int and tag, and we got to give it a name, which is we're going to call get channel tags, and then we need a delegate, which we'll call get channel tags, like that. And then we just need to simply return on the loader. There's a load async, and we're going to pass in the channel ID, which is on the context. It's from the source, so the thing that's being input, and there's an ID on there. Okay, so we just need to create this private method. Okay, so generate method. There we go. It's going to be asynchronous, and we don't need a cancellation token. We just need channel IDs. There we go. Okay, and we're going to use something very similar here. So we're going to need to inject into our type here. We're going to need to inject a tag search service. So let's do that. So I tag search service, tag search service, search service, and we'll pop one of those up here, and these can be read only, I guess. So private, read only, and then tag service. And we'll just create one of those. There we go. So we got tag search service. We spell read only properly. We should be okay. Yeah, there we go. So we've got one of those search services in here. So let's grab that. So var channel tag lookup is going to be we're going to await tag search service dot get channel tags lookup, and we're going to pass into that channel IDs. And in fact, we should just be able to return that, shouldn't we? Let's spell it properly first. So return that. Okay. So, I wonder what the odds are of this working. Let's give it a go. Let's try it out. There's probably all kinds of spelling mistakes in there because that's what seems to be my modus operandi at the moment. Is make spelling mistakes, but we'll see. So let's remove that, and let's see if we get tags. What did we define was on there? Why aren't we getting tags? Let's go back and have a look. Did I call it tags? I did call it tags. So we got a field which is of tag type called tags. So I thought we should get that. So let's. What can we do here? Can we put description on? Let's just see if we can get it to respond with something. The subjects that the channel covers and then we'll put the subjects that the channel is tagged with. Okay, so I think there's probably something not quite right here, but let's rebuild and see what happens. Go to our playground again. Let's get rid of schedule. So we're not getting any. So yeah, we got an error because the server can't be reached. You see, so we're not actually succeeding in anything. So no service type. Tag type has been registered, so I haven't registered tag type in the DI container, so at least we got a decent error and it told us what to do. So let's stop this and go back to our. Now we extracted all the components that we need to register in the DI container into its own static class. So let's just add tag type now to this. So we want to add a scoped instance to this of tag type. There we go. And now let's see what happens. So hopefully we get a bit further this time. So as I said at the start of the stream, as we get towards the top of the hour, I'm going to be taking a break, which is going to be a maximum of 5 minutes because I have to go and do some backups for work. All I need to do is kick them off, and they'll take quite a long time to do. So by the time they're finished, the stream should be ended. So we'll be calling a short break in about 10 minutes time. So I can do that. So let's see what we get now. So we get tags now. and we'll just put the name out. So what happens? So Jeff Chatter comes up with C#, JavaScript, English and .NET Core, Codebase Alpha, C#, English, .NET Core, Noob Cat up JavaScript and English, Gathable, F#, Rust, English, and the other ones don't have any tags. So that's actually working quite nicely, isn't it? And that's using the data loader. So that is meaning that we're only making 2 calls to the database here. We're making 1 call to get the channels, all the channels, and 1 call to get all of the tags, and then we're using the data loader's batch and cache features to actually distribute those tags appropriately. So that's quite pleasing. So we should be able to also get schedule at the same time and get the day of week, start time, end time, and time zone. Run that. So we're getting all that information, the tags as well, and that's only 3 queries, even though actually there's quite a lot of data coming back. Okay, well that's pretty cool. And thank you to Stack Overflow for that answer there to converting the dictionary, and thank you for Feel Stable for suggesting we use the dictionary and then convert it. That seems like a very good way of doing things. So let's give a quick look back at our tag search service. Yeah. So it's not exactly a tag search, so we need to decide whether it actually belongs in a tag service. And I think it does. So I'm going to create a tag service, I think, rather than a tag search service, just so we keep it obvious that we're not searching, we're actually getting back everything there. So let's add a new interface, and we'll call it iTag service. Add that in. Public. And let's go to the iTag search service, and we'll remove this from there. Like that, and pop that in the tag service instead. We need to bring in some namespaces. There we go. And we need to get rid of some namespaces as well. There we are. So if you notice, I'm using Visual Studio 2019, and I'm really pleased that we actually got CodeLens in the Community Edition. So I think that's pretty cool. And we got all kind of refactorings as well that are built in. So I think Community Edition is now the functional equivalent of Professional, and it's just the licensing which is different. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we've got that. So let's create a Dapper version of tag service. So new item, new class, and it's going to be called tag service. Okay, public class tag service, and we're going to implement the iTag service like that. And we need to bring that namespace in from the core services. There we go, and now we can go and rescue that tag search service method. Can grab that. And we can go and pop it into our tag service. Okay, fair enough. We've got a few types to bring in. Look up. That namespace in, SQL connection, some dapper. We've got tag and channel, those are in our core types. DB settings, we need to pass one of those in. There's our tag search service. Tag search service. Yep. So let's go and grab a constructor out of that, pop that in here. And that will inject the I options for us. And we need to grab that as well, database settings, that's from our core settings. And there, we're nice and happy now. And we need to go back to our type, sorry, to our channel type, and so rather than channel search service, we're going to be injecting a tag service. Like that. I think it's best if we separate them out so that we don't get confused by the fact it says search. And down here. Okay, and then on our startup class, where's the startup class gone? Then we want to inject, we want to create one of those. So I think that should do it. So an iTag service. Tag service. Okay. Let's give that another go. Make sure we're still operating. Hey Slames here. I replaced 2017 with 19 and got 10 gigabytes of free SSD space. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't remove 2017. 2017 is still on there on my machine. In fact, on my work machine, I've now got 2015, 2017, and 2019. So actually using more space up. But yeah, good if you could actually. So did you just not install the same workloads? ASLMC on your 2019? Did you decide not to do some parts of it? Or is it just more lightweight? Is it genuinely 10 gigabytes less stuff? Okay, so that's working fine. Cool. So we've now tidied up a bit, separated that service out. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Okay. So on the channel type, if we go over to the model again, channel also has Twitch channel. So I think we've probably ought to model that as well. Hey Slames here, you did everything you had on the previous one, but it was taking 10 more gig for some reason. Well, that's astonishing. I think they really put 10 gigs worth of fewer bits for more functionality. I'm a bit confused by that. You'd think it'd be bigger, wouldn't you? Because it just gets bigger and bigger every 2 years. So yeah, very strange. Okay, so we've got a Twitch channel, and we've got a Twitch channel type over here. So it's got a channel ID, a Twitch ID. Okay, so this is interesting. It doesn't actually inherit from a data entity this time. So it hasn't got an ID. It's just using the channel ID. So it's a one-to-one relationship more than the one-to-many, which we've had before. So we've got a Twitch name and his affiliate is partner. So let's sort that out. They're all simple types, so we can use the simple way of defining our GraphQL type, and this is called a Twitch channel type. So we'll add that new class, call it Twitch channel type. So what's the time now? So it's just 5 o'clock. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave you hanging just for 5 minutes. We're going to just quickly put object graph type in there. And let's type Twitch channel. We'll just bring in the namespaces for those missing pieces. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put the Be Right Back screen up, and Flame here, older SDKs, yes. She also says perhaps they did a Windows 7 and removed stuff very few people care about. Takes a lot of space. Personally, you didn't see much difference, yeah. Maybe the SDKs, older SDKs. Okay, so I'm going to put Be Right Back up, and do bear with me. I should be about a maximum of 5 minutes while I start these backups. So do hang around. See you in a second. And I'm back. Thank you for staying. Okay, so let's continue with this then. So we set up our class. Let's just get a public constructor. Twitch channel type. And we need to build up the field. So we're going to have a field. We can use our lambda format once again. So that's channel ID, description, channel unique identifier. So this is pretty rote stuff, so we should get through it quite quickly. F dot, and then we've got Twitch ID. Channels. Quotation marks would be useful, wouldn't they? The Twitch ID. The channel. Field. And we got Twitch name, I think is another one. That's a description of that. The name of the channel on Twitch. So we got another field. This is the I think it was is affiliate. Is the channel Twitch affiliate. We'll just copy that, and I think it's just his partner. Yeah, Twitch partner. Any spelling mistakes? Can't see any. Okay, I think that's all there is on there. Yes, it is. Okay. So that's Twitch channel type. Okay, and we might as well go over to our register GraphQL and register that while we're at it, because we forgot last time, or I forgot. So Twitch channel type. Okay. Over here on our list of fields, this time it's still a complex type, so it's not a simple type, not a scalar type, which GraphQL knows about. So we're going to have to add another field, which is of this using this generic format here. Okay, this is going to be a field. So type Twitch channel type, and it's going to be called Twitch. I'll give you some documentation, details of the channel on Twitch, and we need the resolver again. So this is going to be resolve, and we want to do, so we've got the repo in here. We haven't got a repo, so we could use a data loader again, couldn't we? We could use a data loader again here. What's the best way to do that? Let's just go with that idea of using data loader just to reduce the load on the database and see where it takes us. So once again, loader accessor dot context dot. So getter edge batch loader. What's that going to do for us? So what does that want? That wants something similar. It's a data loader. How is that different? So that's getting a collection. This is getting just okay, it's going to bring back a dictionary this time of T key and T, which okay, that sounds fine. So this is going to be a dictionary it's going to bring back of int and Twitch channel. And it's going to be called, so we need to give it just a key. I think it's a name, loading key. So get Twitch channel, and then we'll have another private method called get Twitch channel, and that's going to be Twitch channel. So what's that going to be? That's going to be a func, which is going to bring back an IE numerable of T. That's not right, is it? So we're giving it a loader key, and we want func in IE numeral of T. That doesn't sound correct. We want the brings back a task of dictionary. Why does it want a func there? Okay, let's go and have a look at batch. Add or get or add batch loader. I need some documentation on that, I think. So we'll go to GraphQL.net, and over here there's some data loader information here. If you're Snable, I thought it was pretty exciting that there were 100,000 plus viewers yesterday on the launch of VS 2019. And I mean, I don't know how many were watching on YouTube, if you're Snable, but I was certainly watching on Twitch, at least for the initial part of it. I enjoyed the keynote that Scott Hanselman did, and I watched some of the other segments of the show, but I didn't watch it all, I must admit. So I shall be watching the catch-ups on that. Okay, get users by ADA sync. So it's definitely returning a dictionary, isn't it? A dictionary of int and user. So that's what we want to return. Okay. So dictionary of int and user. So it gets Twitch channel. And that's exactly what we want. And we want to pass into that our channel IDs again. Okay. I want the dictionary back. So let's go and have a look. So we haven't got anything to deal with Twitch. I haven't got a service to deal with Twitch channel yet. So let's we could just get, what have we got? What have we got on our repo? Let's have a look at our Dapper repo and see what that's got on it. Dapper CRUD repository. So it's got get all, and it's get all with filter. So that sounds reasonable. If we do that and pass it a filter, filter. Okay, let's try that. So we want the CRUD repository in here. So let's set up a variable for that. read only iCRUD repository. Repository repo. Okay. Let's bring one of those in. Oh, is it not called iCRUD repository? What's it called then? Data iCRUD repository. We want. There, that's what I want. Thank you. Okay, so let's bring a CRUD repository in as well. And just do the business here. So repo, it's repo. Okay, and this. Oh, we need to return something, don't we? That's why it's complaining. Return loader dot load async context dot source ID. So you can get used to the patterns of this using this this software. What was the keynote about? You missed it. So basically, the keynote was Scott Hanselman walking around parts of the Microsoft campus, talking to individuals or groups who are actually involved in the creation of Visual Studio 2019. So it was quite different. It wasn't really a speech, it was going through and talking to people, introducing them and showing some features of the Microsoft campus, which was a strangely quiet place for this film. But there we are. I suppose that's just, it was filmed at a quiet time. Okay, so var Twitch channels is equal to so repo dot get Twitch channel. So what was it? So it was get all with a filter. Get all, and the filter was so let's go back and have a look. So start from table name, where filter. So channel ID in channel IDs, and then it wants an anonymous object. Oops, getting in a mess. A new quotation, no new those, and then channel IDs. Let's make sure we don't make the same mistake we did last time as make terrible spelling mistakes in here. So channel IDs is equal to channel IDs that's right, isn't it? Get there we are. So get all of T with a string filter and object of args. It's bringing past. Oh, it's an async. What's this saying? Twitch channel cannot be used as a type parameter. There's T, and there's no implicit conversion from dev chatter channel to data entity. Oh, interesting. Okay, so so the CRUD repository has got a constraint on it here where it wants it to be a data entity. Async constructors, yes, it'd be interesting to do that, wouldn't it? I don't know what the actual ramifications of that. Data breakpoints, yes, first enable, that did seem good. So there's a lot of interesting things. I mean, the way they've managed to change the debugging so you can debug very, very large programs. Like I think they had Gears of War and they were debugging that. Before it took up a shed load of memory, and it was a lot less. It was very interesting to see what they were doing there. Okay. So it's got constraint on it where it's a data entity, but we don't. This isn't a data entity. Now, do I just take that off? Or do we just make it a data entity? I think what we'll do for now, and I'll have to discuss this with Brendan, is I think I'll make filter should never come from user input. Yes, definitely. What have we got in our CRUD repository here? So, do you think we can get away with having one where it isn't a data op? Do you think we can do that? Does that count as a separate signature? Doesn't, does it? So Fuel Snowball, since DevEng is 32-bit, it crashes at 2 gig, yeah. You like to debug through log files and metrics in the software you develop, yeah. So stepping through code is invaluable, though, isn't it? Really, when you get those kind of really difficult problems. I do use quite a lot of old-fashioned logging, and there's some systems you can't get away without doing that. And there's an interesting tweet on Twitter about logging and how you should probably use some kind of instrumentation class to do your logging rather than sticking logger kind of code all over the place. But I thought it was interesting, but I think it's more of a domain-driven development kind of concept rather than something I would personally use. So we can't get away with this. Okay, so that's a shame. So we're not going to use the Dapper repository for this. Then we're going to have to use a that really is a shame, actually. Because that would have been quite neat. Well, let's do it as a service, shall we? I wonder if the channel service could bring back this. So channel search service. So this is a find once again. So we don't really want to be messing with that. Channel permission service, channel aggregate service. So let's bring in back the tags. Get all and get all for a user ID. Let's get an aggregate. It's got the create, update and delete. Okay, well. So field stable logging is different in different domains. Yes, yes. It was an interesting. I followed the tweet and then went to the article. It was an interesting read. I think it was by Martin Fowler, the article, but the tweet wasn't. The tweet was from somebody else. So it was interesting to read that idea. I mean, and I think the idea was you didn't want to clutter your code with they called CRUF. But I guess if you've got kind of classes which do things, it's a bit like actually it's very much like adding application insights, because they have an instrumentation concept there. So yeah, and so you can use that application insights as a form of logging, I guess. I've not used it in anger yet, so I only used it quite casually. So we'll be using that to hopefully at work quite soon. Even though we've got systems which got the instrumentation on there. Yeah, Fuel Snab was saying that he finds that logging statements are like comments in the code, except they actually do things. Yeah, I mean I agree. I mean I don't know. I'm pretty old school on that kind of thing. I do like logging statements to the extent where I actually created a logging system for Microsoft CRM, which was based upon working in plugins and logging to files, which all of a sudden wouldn't work. I had to rip it all out because they changed the model, the way things have to work within CRM plugins. But it was quite good at the time because I could just switch logging on and see exactly what's going on. Now I have to put trace logging on my plugin tables, and then I can see what's going on, but only it's not quite as flexible, really. I'd like to say as just putting logging statements in. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Fuel Stable, but there's different ways to do the same thing. Okay, so what should we do here in our channel type? We're not going to be able to get away with the Twitch channel because it doesn't implement data entity. So what we'll do, I think, is we'll have a Twitch channel service. So let's create a interface for that. Hi, Twitch channel service. And it's going to be so what do we actually want to return? And where is it? Over here. So we want really that, don't we? Yep, that'll do. Well, that. Let's bring in our namespaces. There we go. Tidy up there. Okay, let's implement that then. And that's going to be implemented over here. So we're going to add a class, Twitch channel service. Public. And we're going to implement the iTwitch channel service. Okay. And implement that. Okay. So we could actually go to our CRUD repository, and we basically want this. Where is it? Get all with a filter. We basically want that, and we need to strip out what we don't need. Let's put that across. So we don't need that. This is going to be Twitch. Is it Twitch channels, do you think? Let's have a look. Twitch channels, yeah. Where channel ID in channel IDs. This is going to be Twitch channel. We're passing in the SQL. Let's just clear up these bits and pieces. Dapper for here. And the args are going to be so we want a new anonymous object, and it was channel ID is equal to channel IDs. Okay, we're waiting that. DB settings. Let's go over here and get all the gubbins. This is channel service. In these things. Yep, there we go. And I knew what that was, wasn't it? So we don't want to return this. Twitch channels. It's going to be that. New item which does not contain a definition. Why is it an IEnumerable? I want a list. Okay, well, what's it when we don't have a list? What's it going to bring back? IEnumerable. That should be okay. So for each so we've got a list. So FuelStab was saying, since you do a new SQL connection, etc., would it not make sense to make a method that encapsulates that pattern? It probably would do, yes. It probably would do. If you want a 2 dictionary, yeah. There isn't a 2 dictionary we can bring up. That's list. Interesting. As list. Get a link in here, shall we? There we go. So to dictionary, and it's going to be an int and a Twitch channel. So obviously not quite as simple as that. So to dictionary, and we need to define key is going to be can we just do that? Okay, let's have a look up to dictionary and see what we can do with it. C# to dictionary. Yeah, I thought it should just we should be able to just lambda that, but there we are. Yeah, let's record that we can just lambda it. Interesting. Why is it not wanting me to lambda it? Maybe it doesn't. Channel ID and X. Yeah. Does that give us what we want, I think? So what does that give us? Let's just make that a var. Yep, that seems to give us what we want. What to do on duplicates? No, it's a one-to-one relationship. You don't need the second arc. Okay, well, we'll just do that then. Thank you, Fuel Snowball. Yeah, it's a one-to-one relationship, so there shouldn't be any duplicates. There's just ones that won't be there. I've got a cat meowing behind me, wanting to go outside. What's the time? 1:45. No, 22. Okay. Right, so we've got that. Let's go back to our channel type, and this time we don't need this private async method. So we should just be able to say Twitch channel service dot. Did we bring a Twitch channel service in? We did, didn't we? We didn't. So let's get one of those. Twitch channel service. So Twitch channel service dot get Twitch channel. You get Twitch channels, isn't it? Get Twitch channel. Okay, so now we've got Twitch and we got that. So let's give that a run and see what happens. Yeah, I've got a cat here meowing at me like mad. Don't know if you can hear him. Probably can't hear him on stream. Right, we've got tags. Let's add up here. Twitch. We're not seem to getting anything here, are we? So, we're not getting any. Did I call it Twitch? Unable to resolve our Twitch, yeah, so we haven't actually managed to push that into our startup. So I'm just going to hit be right back for 1 second while I sort this pussycat out, because it really wants to go outside. Hang a second. There we are, sorted. One cat outside. Okay, let's close this off. And off to our startup class. And where are we? These are our services. So we did our tag service. We'll add our iTwitch channel service. Twitch channel service. So what I'll do is separate those out, so that when we come to do the PR or some tidying up before the PR, we know that we added those. Okay, let's start again. Excuse me. Okay. Now then, we're there. So his affiliates, his partner, Twitch name. There we go. So let's run that. Okay, and then we get the information about Twitch channels for our channels in the database. And you can see it copes fine with these things being null. Okay, well we actually come quite far there. Let's shut that down. Okay. So we've done Twitch channel, we've got tags. So the other thing I wanted to look at, and we'll make a start on this, probably won't finish the whole thing off. Pure Snable, by the way, as you do some F#, you'll notice that partial application and extension methods solves a bit of the same problem. Yes, I think I understand extension methods from a kind of a different perspective than I understand partial application. So partial application seems a bit more natural. Extension methods are just building on the idiom of adding dots after things. But yeah, interesting. Okay, so let's go back to our channel type. So one of the things I would like to be able to do is actually is add a field which isn't on the data at all, which is that when the next stream is going to happen. And we'll start off just by doing it in UTC. Okay, so we need to have a query which we can use to get when the next stream is going to start. So let's just pop over to our Dapper repository, and I saw this, and it made me think that we could use this kind of concept, but we need to add something else. So let's go over to our core project and our data and the CUD repository. We've got this line here, this get all with a filter and args. Let's have another version of that, which is filter a string order by and the args, and implement that. And see, put it right at the bottom it has, so let's put it up near where we want to work. And this time I want to make sure I don't overwrite the wrong method like I did so cringingly on the well, it's just text, so we can just use text. We don't have to have an array of strings necessarily. We can revisit that and have a look. Let's just grab exactly the same code. And in order by. order by. Make the async. SQL ingestion risk. We have the same comment here. It is a SQL ingestion risk, yes. So warning should never come from user input. So I'm just trying to build on what dev chat has actually created already. I don't want to reinvent stuff that isn't directly kind of relating to the work we're doing. But as we're using the repo, we're not using. You have to come through the repo, and I guess we need to be just aware that we shouldn't take the filter value through. But this it was an existing method, so all I've done is added the order by. So I guess if Brendan's happy to go with this, I'm happy to extend it, and then we can revisit it when we come through and refactor all this code. Maybe that's a bit of a cop out for your stable, but you know, it's not really what I'm trying to stream. I'm trying to stream the GraphQL side of it really. And if it's happy for that to happen, that's fine. Okay. So we've got this new field we want. So I think this is the last thing I want to look at. So we need a stream session type. So if you look in the database, we have these thing called stream sessions. If I select the top 1,000 rows of that, you can see basically, I don't know if you can see, but this is basically the channel ID, and then you have the UTC start time and end time, and this is in UTC. So we're going to need to do some time zone conversions again, but we probably won't get that far because I've got to do this extra work and get the CRM update done soon. So I want to stop the stream in the next 10 minutes or so. But so we need a model for this, and a type in GraphQL. So let's create that. We've done this several times now. This is going to be a stream. We call it stream sessions. Stream session type. You didn't have a. So Stable, you're saying that you didn't have a SQL injection attack at work, but you had an unintentional filter expansion from string concatenation. Yeah, I mean we're kind of leaving ourselves open to someone misusing these classes. But yeah, there's room yet. This is not a live system, so we're kind of building up things. And what I don't want to do is go and fix problems that maybe Brendan wants to fix on stream. I don't. This is a PR about GraphQL, so I think it's probably reasonable for me not to fiddle too much with those methods, even though I'm adding to them. I will discuss that with him. I want to have a Skype call with Brendan fairly shortly to discuss lots of things about how I'm going to get some of my PRs actually through, especially the Alexa one. Yeah, Fuel Snowball, I feel your pain on that. And as you quite rightly point out, we are leaving ourselves open to. We know, you, me, Brenda, we know not to let the user-defined input go into that field. But then, a couple of years' time, old Johnny developer comes along and just does exactly that because they don't understand SQL injection attacks or any kind of injection attacks really. So yeah. Yes. So Fuel Snowball is saying that you have friendly users, but in a post-GDPR world, a mistake can have serious implications, and we don't want to be making mistakes. So let's build up the fields again. So we need to inherit. So this needs to inherit from object graph type. And that's generic of stream session. Stream session. Let's bring in all these various namespaces. That's a GraphQL one. Yeah, there we go. So now we get field, and once again we can use our lambdas. Come on, stop doing that. Is it called stream session? What's he complaining about? Are we not missing something, are we? Looks okay. What am I missing? Oh, interesting. I'm missing something, aren't I? Stream session type, stream session type. Where's my GraphQL types? I'm sure we should be using graph. Stream session. I'm missing something, aren't I? What am I missing? Stream session type. Well, let's just copy the whole of this, and I can't quite figure what I've done wrong there. No doubt it'll be so blindingly obvious on the video when I watch it back. I'm actually feeling a bit under pressure to try and get some of this done. Okay, there we go. I don't know what went wrong there, but I'll spot it on the video tomorrow. Stream session identifier. And then we've got a field, UTC start time, UTC end time. What else did I write it? Stream session, channel ID. Okay, we'll leave the descriptions off for now. Okay, so I think I'm running out of time here, so let's see what else we can get done before I do channel type. So we want a field here. Okay. Field, this is going to be stream session type, and we'll call it next stream, and we'll give it the times of the channel's next stream. We'll have a resolver for that, and this will be context. That's going to be what's going to be repo.getAll. GetAll, and it's going to be stream session type coming back, no stream session coming back, and then we want to use so we need the filter, which is channel ID is equal to an ID, and UTC start time, it's got to be greater than get UTC date, and then we want an order by, and the order by is going to be by UTC start time. So that's that, and then we want our anonymous object again, where we pass in the arguments. So ID going to be equal to this the context.source schema source.id. And we want, so that's a task, we want the result of that, and we want first or default. So can we do that? So what's that bringing back? Results. And there. Okay. So that should bring us back. So then we just only got the one, we pass that straight in there. That should. Okay. Let's give that a go. GTC date. Okay. So we're not using data loader here, so this is not going to be very efficient. But we'll data loaderize it in the next stream if this works. So I think we've probably forgotten to put something, haven't we? Yeah, we forgot to put the registration in again. So quickly do that and then we'll finish. So let's back off in our startup class. We can do that in our, we can do that in our own register GraphQL section. Keep forgetting to do all this kind of stuff, but there we are. It's all part of it. This is going to be stream session type. Fire that up. And over to the UI playground. Oops, what happened there? Okay, so we can't, I can see what happened here, so we can't quite do that. We can't use this form. This is because this is going to be an instant. So we need to use the other form to get the instant graph type. And it's going to be called UTC start time. And we need to have a resolver. And that's going to be context ctx dot source dot UTC start time, and it's going to be the same kind of thing for end time. End and end. Okay, let's try that up. The last roll of the dice. Okay, so we've got the next stream is going to be UTC start time, UTC end time, and we'll fire that off. Okay, so there we go. So you can see that Dev Chatter's next stream is going to be on the 4th of April at 1600 hours Zulu, and it ends then. And the same, we got Codebase Alpha next stream on Monday. Oh, so this is the spurious one. The next stream on Friday at 1 o'clock in the morning Zulu time. Okay, so we actually got there in the end. So I hope that was instructive. It wasn't quite as derpy as the last episode. Episode 13 really was unlucky. It was the derpiest episode I've ever done. But let's put this up into source control, up into Git. So oops, yeah, changes. There we go. This is episode 14. Commit that. So that's up in the GitHub repository. It will be when I sync it. And I'll just post a link into chat if you want to go and see that. So I need to put in a key. So do join me on Discord if you have a mind to. I'll post that in chat as well. So follow me on Twitter at Codebase Alpha. Join me on Discord over here. And if you're interested in viewing archives of the other streams in the series, then I have a YouTube channel which I've just posted the link in. So let's go and find someone to raid. So let's bring up Twitch. I haven't got my Alexa device keyed in. We've got Code Rushed over here. That we'll go and raid Code Rushed. So do stay with me if you want to see Code Rushed. Otherwise, have a really good rest of the day, and I've enjoyed that stream, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next Monday. Let's go and raid. And we're ready to raid now. So see you Monday. Bye bye.